There are several places in the world that seem to attract paranormal phenomena like honey. If we talk about UFOs, their favorite country is America. Maybe their target audiences live there. In the state of Florida alone, there have been about 7,000 cases of sightings of bizarre and terrifying phenomena since 1999. If you think we are alone in the universe, maybe our selection today will change that belief. You are on the Top Facts channel, and today we are looking at unusual figures and objects that were captured on camera by people just like you and me. Let's go quickly. Shocking episodes await us. The legend of Leviathan has existed since biblical times. A fire-breathing and multi-headed sea serpent was an ancient mythical creature, and its prototype was apparently some prehistoric whale. Probably over thousands of years, stories about it have scared many children. But here the jokes end. Here we see a shot by a resident of China. He captured a terrible shadow in the sky. In my opinion, an exact match with the description. A monstrous figure purposely moving through space. Well, okay, even if it is a celestial phenomenon, don't you find that it's located strangely and moves not at all like a rain cloud? Regarding this plot, the audience's opinions will be divided. Some thought it was a prank, and the rest of the viewers were seriously worried that such creepy figures with tentacles might exist and travel in the atmosphere. In general, squids, octopuses, and other seafood are supposed to dwell in the water space and have simply no way of staying up in the sky. But what do you think? How do you explain this? All our nightmares are created by nature. Is she laughing at our fears? How do we like this octopus in the sky? It's amazing how diverse atmospheric phenomena can be. Related to clouds, rain, and wind, you can draw anything you want in the sky. You might see a giant kite, squid, or octopuses in the clouds. We only stand that this is a combination of water, air, and our imagination. But why do these outlines resemble living creatures so much? What do you think? Does the creator's imagination also develop in a human way? Here's another similar testimony. You won't see living dementors every day. This sight drove witnesses in California crazy. The outlines resembled the same octopus, but its place of appearance is on the other side of the planet. We understand that this isn't a drone. Well, the only assumption is that someone took on the task of making the scariest kite in the world and put it into mass production. A scary story came to us from Jordan. A tourist who was staying at the LA Royal Hotel noticed a bright white figure fluttering in the air and decided to throw it on video. This object looked like a flying mushroom or jellyfish. Neither one nor the other belongs in the sky, so people began to put forward theories about what it could be. Among the options, a robotic device, an installation that imitated a jellyfish, and even an angelic being. But it flutters very obviously, which suggests that the object is controlled. If previous visions could still be somehow attributed to natural phenomena, now we are dealing with entities. So, a story from Australia. If you forget the jokes that everyone there walks upside down, then these creatures cause an alarming feeling. They move under the bridge, contrary to gravity. We've all seen lizards on the ceiling, but these creatures are much larger, and logically, they should fall down. I don't know if this is someone's prank or an animal that we don't know, as we don't really know all the animals that inhabit the opposite end of the world. Honestly, I'm puzzled, and for some reason remembered mythical creatures called gargoyles. Gothic is appropriate here. What do you think? For this, we need the comment section to provide. We are willing to believe that angels live in the heavens, but to meet them in person, I must say, is not for the faint-hearted. What if you even managed to capture one of them on camera? Incredibly, it seems that this angel was in a hurry on his divine errands and did not want to be seen. One man observed a couple of ethereal beings hovering in the sky behind his backyard. These figures look like angels. If you look closely, One of them is even blowing a trumpet. But to the homeowner's surprise, he could not hear any melodies from the sky. The sight scared the man so much that he stopped recording. If these were angels and they came for their purposes to communicate with other invisible beings on Earth, then this explains why people could not hear the music. And in Japan, such a frightening sight was observed. Local residents could not believe their eyes. A ghostly figure, reminiscent of a ninja, was menacingly floating in the sky. It was performing somersaults, and its outline is clearly matched to that of a humanoid. That's enough to give even me goosebumps. Manananggal. That's the name of a mythical anti-hero. The existence of this kind of evil force is believed in the Philippines. It is a strange legend. Supposedly, there is such an evil female creature, essentially a vampire. It seems that there are similar stories in Europe, but in the Philippines, everything is much scarier. When its upper half turns into a huge bat at night and only flies off in search of victims, the lower part of the body remains in place, and you can kill it only by sprinkling salt with garlic on the lower half of the body. Would you dare? This mysterious figure quickly raced across the sky, leaving behind astonished looks and weak knees of eyewitnesses. At such a pace and distance, it's difficult to understand whether it was an angel or a demon. But by the nature of the flight, it seems that it's still very unclear what this is. The silhouette resembles a mythical creature from Gothic architecture called gargoyles. Some usually sit on the upper floors of buildings and wait for victims. Be that as it may, the fact is evident. This is not a bird. And now, people or figures resembling them will fall from the sky. We have to figure this out. All plots of fantastic films had a real prototype in life. Before the idea of Superman appeared, someone had already seen flying figures in the sky. This mysterious man was spotted in China and naturally gathered a crowd of onlookers below. The show took place in front of spectators. We can't deny anything. We have to assume that this is maybe a wizard or a magician. Are these hallucinations or some magicians achieving good results? This plot has at least two witnesses, you and me, and the third, the one who shot this on camera and published it. Here's how it happened. The man suddenly jumped off the building and began performing heart-wrenching tricks in the air. There are opinions that this was a stuntman filming a scene for a movie. Plausible, but where are the ropes? Are they made of silicone or are they invisible? No, this is not a bird or a bee. I'm at a loss to what mysterious creature was spotted in the sky over Mexico. It really looks like a bright moth, but it's too large, more like a guy with a jetpack. It was filmed during the flight, but no one can say whether the bright flyer landed somewhere. On the other hand, if you accept the most incredible, this could be an alien in a carnival costume flying out of a spaceship to invade Earth. But why is he acting alone? Maybe it's a parachutist whose parachute didn't open. I don't know which version of this I like more. Now we will solve puzzles related to mechanisms and technology. Have you ever seen a human-shaped UFO? This mysterious figure was seen over the sky of Nevada. It was racing at an inhuman speed. Several eyewitnesses were puzzled by what object they caught on camera. Maybe it was hiding in Area 51? I have no idea what it is either. Possibly a specially designed army drone still in testing. Jokers noted that it resembles an American military version of Iron Man. In that case, well, we might be a little excited that superheroes are on the way. During a scheduled test flight, a pilot captured a UFO flying past. What do you say? Has this news become routine for you? Yes, I would say that this is not the first observation. We seem to have recognized the existence of aliens. But are we hardly counting on the fact that they've managed to learn English and name their ships with English names. The letters are clearly visible on this flying saucer. Maybe someone launched such objects into production long ago, and the government of this country is frantically trying to convince us that aliens exist. In January 2024, a resident of California noticed a strange glowing ball right above his head. It seemed to float through air. The object intrigued the man. At first, he thought it was just a drone in the foggy sky, but then the behavior of the object changed. The ball released a smoky ring outside, which slowly expanded and rose upwards. The unidentified object continued to emit rings, then glowed red and disappeared. It seemed that this was some kind of device, but clearly not any invented on Earth. In a computer game, anything is possible. But what do you say about this real situation? Recently, a strange cubic object was ironically spotted in the skies over Cuba. Hardly believable that it could be a big paper lantern, but it looks as though it has no base and holds the flame. The smoothness and accuracy of its landing are what is mainly suspicious. Have you seen anything like this before? In 2013, the whole world was buzzing with rumors about a humanoid creature that was observed floating in the sky. When this video went viral, experts became interested, and they quickly realized that they were dealing with something more. Initially, it was assumed that this was some kind of flying creature, possibly an unidentified animal. But when the enlarged version showed that it was a capsule-shaped object, researchers were alarmed. What if it was a space spy? An alien creature that jumped out of the ship and parachuted to Earth? The mystery was never solved, as the object disappeared from the witness's camera field, and the story ends there. Reports came from several regions of China. People observed elongated white objects in the sky. They transformed in the air, growing into a light column, and slowly descended to the ground. Could it have been parts of a launching rocket that maybe detached in the air? What if the rocket was not sent into space, but was landing? The celestial ship was preparing to park, taking one of its many forms. Everyone who saw it admitted that they observed not a man-made structure, but something of extraterrestrial origin. What do you think? This time the video is from Japan. A very bright figure resembling a huge trident of the Sea King was methodically moving through the air. It looked like a hologram due to its glow, and despite being seen by several people, the government did not utter a word. No one commented on the mysterious UFO, and this footage remains the only proof. Since the UFO eventually disappeared behind a building, no one had heard about it again. Judging by the speed, it seemed that the object was slowly scanning the area. But there was no official comment on what they knew. Why was the UFO watching this city? However, since the evidence remains, perhaps one day we'll get an explanation. This video appeared in 2019, and many people were puzzled over what was filmed. Skeptics argued that it was just reflections in the sky of some light show on the ground. The luminescent characteristics of these lights are not like a laser show in any hotel. They must have also been at a fairly high altitude. What if it's some portal that's about to open up in the night sky? If the previous stories raised assumptions about what might be filmed on them, then there's no argument here. Yes, this is a flying saucer, brightly shining in the night sky over Japan. At first, the witnesses described it as a drone, but as it continued to float forward at an amazing speed, they guessed that they were filming a real UFO. Realizing that they could not have a second chance, they changed their initial plans and went on the chase. The object suddenly started shining some beam and moved towards the hill. I think the last thing the witnesses wanted was to be noticed, but fortunately, the saucer retreated first, hiding behind the trees. The object we're observing now will show us a small show. From a compact figure, it begins to grow and transform into an elongated shape, and eventually becomes like a candle, or the outline of a bride in a white dress. Funny? Not really. The only explanation here seems to be that this is a spaceship transforming from one dimension to another. We live at an incredible time, as we're still capable of being amazed. This case is not unique. Similar objects have been caught on camera in Mexico and the United Kingdom, and if the ball is falling, then it's not inflatable, but iron, and its goal is to land. Attentive observers took a close-up shot of the sphere. Now it's clear that we are looking at some kind of vessel or device. The UFO has a window through which it seems some creature is peeking. The worst part is, it's completely uncertain about where it is now. What if it's above your house? This type of UFO has become a controversial topic and was even discussed at the Pentagon for a while. A jellyfish-like object was seen flying over several US cities, and somewhere it even lingered in the air for a couple minutes. If such a construction had been seen more than once, it's unlikely that these testimonies can be called fake. What if mythical creatures exist beyond the planet? While browsing the moon's images from Earth, researchers discovered a strange object resembling Santa Claus's sleigh. It was racing across, drawing a tail across the lunar disk. The only thing it could be is a rocket of a unique shape. Someone please help me debunk this, or get my milk and cookies ready for Santa. America is famous for the frequency of UFO appearances in its spaces, and if we collect numerous descriptions, they often feature spherical or ellipsoidal objects that move silently and incredibly quickly. Often they have bright rotating lights at the bottom. This UFO was recorded quite recently. It was filmed in 2023 in Florida. Admit it, the version that is a bunch of glowing balloons launched into the air will not impress you, and the witnesses swear that the mysterious ship hovered over the town of Mayo and had been seen there many times. But unfortunately, we could not learn of any other details. They say this story is a leak of information from Area 51, a captured alien ship undergoing tests there. Anonymous informants claim that the ship ended up there several decades ago, but the staff at Area 51 could not figure out how the controls work. There are theories that the US government has been in contact with alien species for over decades and occasionally helped them return home. I suppose that this is the limit of my imagination, and sadly, I'll have to side with the skeptics. Do you believe that we can just casually observe the parking of an alien spaceship? The UFO suddenly appeared on a US military training ground and seemed to catch the military by surprise. The strange ship suddenly began to emit lasers that exploded the ground, creating a sand chaos. Most people think this is computer graphics. In fact, it's absurd. How could the government hide such a thing? And how someone just filmed the video and posted it on the internet? Maybe it was a scene from a movie that wasn't used. This video is very fresh. It was shot near Nevada. We see a triangular-shaped UFO, and it's hanging over a rock. In the bright focus of the beam, if you zoom in, you can see some object being sucked inside the triangle. What if there were people in there? What we saw frightened the man with the camera, and he decided to stop recording. At that moment, the UFO returned what it had drawn from the ground. Of course, many will say that everything can be edited, but if the abductions of people by aliens are true, I would assume that it would happen exactly like this. Now, let's look at the strange types of illumination in the sky that were captured in different parts of the globe. During a flight over Brazil, passengers witnessed a strange phenomenon: air rings floating in the sky. If you believe in the supernatural, you can agree that this is what the gates of an unexplored dimension would look like. The mysterious ring was floating ominously before the eyes of eyewitnesses. Looking to find a logical explanation, it seemed like a ring of smoke or a uniquely shaped cloud. But if you focus on its center, you can see that it looks glassy, like a huge mirror, and slightly bends, distorting reality. After seeing something like this, would you believe in portals, holes in time and space? If the previous plot didn't convince you, take a look at the glowing circle in the sky over one of the Philippine islands. Such outlines usually give shadow that cover the sun during a total eclipse, but we're trying to explain the phenomenon. The primitive fear goes ahead of us and overshadows our logic. Residents and tourists, of course, were frightened by the strangely glowing circle and its unique tilt. A lot of assumptions were made by the superstitious, as it was a portal to another world, or a horrifying flying creature in the sky. What if our planet is just a bacterium in a test tube that someone else is studying? That's all for today, friends. If you like the release and want to see something similar or maybe the next part, then like it, write in the comments, and subscribe to the Top Facts channel and watch our previous videos right now.